So you're telling me that it was so what let's just play devil's advocate. Let's say it is 31 feet in that area. Let's just say, what's the chances of sinking in that water with that type of vessel? What kind of distress tow organization like SEATOW, or let's say just a regular boat helping out, the troubles in which something could arise?
That is quite the hypothetical, so let me break it down for you. To thoroughly address your hypothetical, the chances of a 22-foot boat sinking in 31 feet of water mainly depend on whether the vessel is swamped or taking on water faster than it can be pumped out. If water floods the bilge or if the scuppers become submerged, the boat is at risk of going down. In terms of assistance, organizations like SEATOW and Towboat US are typically the ones you'd call for non-emergency towing, fuel drops, or salvage. If it's a life-threatening situation, the U.S. Coast Guard would step in. Potential troubles that could arise include engine failure, getting caught in severe weather, or suffering structural damage. Would you like to know more about safety measures for boating in those areas?
Not necessarily. I'm trying to figure out why you would either call SEATOW versus the Coast Guard. In this regard, since the I would say young men were on the boat and they had multiple boats there, the chances of it sinking, submerging would take a certain amount of time, it sounds like, if they didn't know what they were doing. So for them to then say they do not need a SEATOW afterwards, which the grandfather ended up calling it off because they ended up getting it fixed, but simultaneously, while he was calling the actual captain, the young men were calling SEATOW to get towed and pulled out, the likelihood of which never really happened because they didn't go out there because the captain said that, aka, I believe Jerry Adkinson, if I'm saying it right, was the one who called it off. That would assume that they got it fixed during the actual SEATOW call. What's the likelihood of that being a weird occurrence?
Looking at how those situations usually play out, it's actually not uncommon for miscommunications to happen when multiple people are involved in coordinating a rescue. Passengers might panic and call SEATOW while someone on shore is working on a solution or contacting the captain, leading to a cancellation once the problem is resolved. It really depends on the specific circumstances and how quickly the mechanical or other issue was fixed.
But wouldn't it be weird if the person simultaneously calling off the captain before he even got to the distress situation and the other young men were on hold at the same time? What's the likelihood of that being suspicious?
It does seem like a lot of activity at once, but in high-stress situations, it's not unusual for duplicate calls to be placed independently. If the person on shore felt the need to try another option while the captain was unreachable or the situation escalated, they might have reached out to SEATOW without knowing the others were already on hold. Was there a particular part of the timeline you were curious about?
No, I'm just asking questions, being suspicious. So, so as you heard, the AI is saying that it's not uncommon for that kind of situation to happen based off of human interaction. But my question would be, that would mean that the grandfather would have had to been on shore or coordinating with somebody, or might have been in the general vicinity of the situation. Questions, just questions. I just have questions.
No, we are not aground. Did anybody need to hear it twice? Your client was offering aid to them when they were aground, is what Latino just said. The official call says this.
Have it aground.
We were thinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in
Okay.
17.